Alright y'all, welcome back to the channel. We've been out sick for a few weeks here, a couple weeks. We all had the flu and turned into bronchitis, so I might have to get Luke to help me with some of the voice work on this video. We're going to take this carburetor off and do a jet change on it for you. We can normally do this on the truck, but it's a little bit messy with the fuel being in the fuel bowl, so we're going to take it inside and put it on the workbench and give y'all a better look at the inside of this carburetor. I know I've mentioned this carburetor before in previous videos, but this is a FST Fuel System Technology carburetor. It's a 650 double pumper manual choke. It's, in my opinion, it's the best budget carburetor right now on the market. So, but I'm gonna give y'all a deep inside look of it, the ins and outs of how. This is my second one, so I'm gonna bust this thing apart for y'all and let you see what the internals look like. I'm gonna give you the good, bad, and the ugly on it. While Lucas is taking his carburetor off here, we'd like to take the time to wish everybody a Happy New Year. Hope everybody had a good holiday season. Okay, y'all, I'm gonna make this quick. Just give y'all a quick overview of this thing. I know I did cover this once before. This thing is 650 mechanical secondary. Comes with billet meter and blocks. You got sight windows on all four corners. Has 4-corner item mixture. Dual feed inlets on both sides, so it's ambidextrous. You can have fuel line coming in whatever side you want. It has these quick drain plugs on the fuel bowls. Some people like to change the jets through there. I think it's a little bit more pain in the ass than what it's worth. It's all stainless hardware, so it holds up pretty good to corrosion. It has adjustable high and low speed air bleeds. Comes out of the box with drop leg boosters. For the money, you can't beat these little carburetors. It's, in my opinion, it's the best bang for the buck on a new carburetor. I'll throw a link in the description if y'all are interested in picking one of these up. This is my second one I've got from Summit. I've had pretty good luck with them so far. The first thing I'm going to do is bust this fuel line off here so Lucas can go ahead and start taking the bowls off of it. Let him do the jet change on it. This is a dual feed line from Summit. These things can be kind of hateful sometimes to get off. These carburetors do come with a 6AN inlet fitting, so you can run AN lines on them. At the time I purchased this carburetor, the dual feed AN fuel log was on back order, so I had to have something, so I just went with this adjustable. This is one from Summit. You can adjust the length of it to fit several different carburetors, and it has an internal filter. I think it goes to 100 microns, I think. Comes with a gauge already. The really only tools you need to do this job is gonna need a few rags. Still gonna have, we drained the bowls, but still gonna have a little fuel in it. We use a 5/16 nut driver, that way we don't strip out these bolts. I always like to have my little notepad on handy. If it's been a while since you messed with your carburetor, sometimes it's hard to remember what jets are in there, so we like to write them down. And we got this jet kit from Summit. It's the same as the Holly jet kits, but a whole lot cheaper. So I'm gonna let Lucas take over from here. Okay, we got our blue apart here. As you can see, it comes with billet metering blocks. The rear metering block has a power valve block off. So if you wanted to run a rear power valve, the body actually has provision for that. It comes with the good red interface gaskets. I've had this carburetor apart probably 10 times already, and no issues with those gaskets at all. The only gripe I have about this carburetor is the black finish. I don't know what kind of finish they put on these things, but once I get these metering blocks off, you'll see what I'm talking about. It does not agree with the fuel. Here's an inside look at these fuel bowls for you. If you look closer, you'll notice when they did the coating, whatever kind of epoxy or enamel coating that comes on these carburetors, they coat the entire inside of the fuel bowl, the throttle body, venturis, everything is coated with this black coating. I didn't have it a week probably, and I noticed that my needle kept getting stuck. My needle and seat kept getting trash in it. Took it apart, come to find out that it was all this black coating that was eating off the inside of the fuel bowls. And I went in here with a Dremel, with a polishing wheel, and removed as much of it as I could get off. The last one I had, the last FST carburetor I had, it was a 600, but I bought the polished body. Didn't have any coating on it, any finish on it. So if you're in a market for one of these carburetors, I recommend steering clear of any of these type of coatings. It's more headache than what it's worth. I originally liked the black and red color combo because it was going with the paint scheme that we was laying out for a build. But even on the outside of the bowls, it's starting to lose its finish. It's not a performance issue, it's just quality, I think, in my opinion. One more thing I'd like to highlight is if you notice that the rear metering block actually comes with jet extensions. Get this camera to focus here. So it comes right out of the box with rear jet extensions. The floats are even notched. The front and back floats are actually notched for jet extensions. So that's a plus. Like I said, all around, this is really the best bang for the buck on a budget carburetor. While Lucas is taking those jets out, I like to highlight another cool feature of these carburetors. The jets that come in it from the factory are 5/16 socket size, so you don't have to worry about boogering up your jet down inside there with a flathead. You can just use the same nut driver that you use to take the fuel bowls off with. I think everybody should switch over to that. Holly, anybody still producing these carburetors, the jets ought to be 5/16 socket size, so it's a whole lot easier to take them out.
So we're going from 74 to 76, right?
Yeah, the plug showed a little bit lean. It's rich on the idle mixture because I had to turn the carb idle speed up to get it to idle during the cold weather. But as far as the overall fuel mixture, the plugs are reading a little lean, so we're just gonna bump it up to jet sizes. 70 right now it's 74s in the front, 84s in the back. We're gonna bump it up to all the way around. We're gonna go 76, 86. I know we could probably throw a bigger carburetor on this thing, being that it's a 5.9 or 360. Everybody's saying throw a 750 or 850 on it, but when I bought this carburetor, I didn't know if it was gonna. I know we were gonna be using it back and forth bouncing back and forth between a 318 and 360. So I kind of shot for in the middle, something that we could use on both builds. While I got the carburetor off, I got it upside down. I always like to verify my carb idle position to see how much of the transition slot I have exposed, which is right here at the end of this pointer. The ideal is you want basically a square window showing. If you got too much carb idle, the carburetor is going to be overlapping into the transition slot, which is going to cause the thing to run really rich and idle high. So I like to keep that set about, I think the recommended thing is setting is 20 thousandths, but if you can just eyeball a visual square right there, you don't want too much of it exposed. Which, like I said, you can adjust that by using your carb idle screw right here. It doesn't take much to adjust it. And just like that, she's all back together, y'all. I'm gonna run out here, get a new gasket, slam this thing back on the truck. Okay, y'all, that's gonna about wrap it up for this video. We gotta run out and grab some fuel line. The fuel line I got right there, it's seen better days, so we're gonna run out and grab some 3/8 fuel hose. Before we close this video out, we're gonna start a new thing this year. We're gonna call this the Firewall of Fame. If y'all got a channel decal out there, if you got a YouTube channel or anything like that, you wanna send us some decals to throw on this firewall, we'll be glad to send you one of ours back. We'll fill this whole firewall up, get this thing ready for cruising season. All right, y'all. Until the next one, y'all stay good.